Welcome to Inspired Women Amazing Lives podcast, where we seek to thrive, flourish, and celebrate amazing women. I am Kimberly Wiggins, and we are hosting inspired women who are sharing their lives and their stories so that other women may know that the journey to their amazing life is definitely within reach. We are here every week to share resources and information that will help you along the journey to being that inspired woman leading an amazing life. Check us out every week for interesting business conversations, how-to guides, and special segments of interest to women and business. Be sure to listen in, as there's always takeaways for every new and seasoned business owners. Remember to like and comment, and most definitely share these episodes with another woman that you admire and one who truly inspires you, or simply share with someone you would like to inspire. Enjoy! Welcome to Inspired Women Amazing Lives podcast. And today I have a really amazing treat for you today. You're going to want to listen up really closely and listen in, because I have an expert here today that has some information that you really needed. And I sought her out because I knew you needed this information about Facebook and all the Facebook changes. Welcome, Meg Brunson.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here with you today.
Awesome. Yes. And I am so happy to have you. Picking your brain is my pleasure. So Meg is the founder of EIEIO Marketing. Meg is a mommy blogger turned Facebook employee who left the 9 to 5 for a life of freedom and flexibility. Ooh, isn't that what we all want?
Right?
She's currently RVing across the U.S. with her family while empowering other families to live their dreams by pursuing their passions together. Her clients are increasing influence online, leveraging the power of Facebook and Instagram marketing to build their businesses while spending more time with their families. Welcome, Meg.
Thank you so much.
All right. So, and she is RVing because she's in her RV right now.
Yes. I don't have pretty backgrounds. It's like, this is like, anybody else who's an RV knows it's just like ugly wood. So that's
No, that's great, Meg. That's great. Thank you for doing this.
I
So,
love it. I love connecting.
yes, I know, and you're so gracious, and you're so smart. Oh my gosh, Meg,
Oh, thank you.
my head spin. And that's a new color on your hair. I have to say that because that's a beautiful color.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, traveling the United States in the RV, I finally am now back to Phoenix currently, where I was able to connect with my hairstylist. So I went from green and blue to pinks and purples.
Nice. Yes. Oh, very nice. So, Meg, if you will, just give us a little bit of your story. What brought you to this Facebook place?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. So honestly, for most of my life, I was raised thinking that you pursue a career, right? Like, you go to college, you get a job, you move up the ladder, and then you retire at some point. And so I was on that path when I got really, really sick with my third pregnancy. Um, Almost died a couple times, totally paraphrasing for time's sake. I could talk about that for a whole hour. Uh, Almost died a couple times, and basically said, life is too short. I lost my dad when I was 2 days before I turned 12. So I have those like memories of losing a parent. I have those fears of leaving my kids too soon. Like, and this just made it very real for me. And so at that point, I was like, I'm done. I'm done working. I was dealing with my own, psychological, mental, issues, where I said, I can't go back to work. I emotionally cannot go back to work when this baby is 6 weeks old. I was fine. The baby was fine. All of that good stuff. And I didn't. And at that point, I was the breadwinner. I was the 9 to 5. I was carrying the insurance. I was doing all those things. And so we had a transition period where we had to figure things out. I tried a whole bunch of entrepreneurship ideas. I had crafting businesses, like I did craft sales. I had an Etsy shop. I joined a couple direct sales companies for the wrong reasons, but at the time I thought I was doing what was right. Like it was like groundbreaking direct sales, and I thought there was potential there, but I was missing the fact, the passion and I was missing pieces. So I've dabbled in so many different things, so many. And finally, the blog was the first thing that actually took off and was profitable. And from that, I was able to grow that blog. And it kind of just happened that I was leveraging Facebook to market the blog. And at this point, Facebook was very different from what it is today. So organic got us a lot farther, but I was also starting to, that boost button had called to me. So I was starting to throw some money into the boosts, and then I got introduced to Ads Manager. And so I started working through this process, researching, just diving into self-directed studies. And I quickly became the go-to expert in my circle. By no means did anybody know me, but my people would come to me and be like, so what have you found? What are you doing? I'm going to run Facebook ads. What should I do? Things like that. Then my husband moved across the country. Well, we all moved across the country for my husband's job.
Mm-hmm.
And I had an opportunity to interview at Facebook. They were looking for a specific marketing position. And I almost didn't even get the interview. It's one of my favorite memories was the woman who makes sure that your application's complete. And she was like, wait, so you went to school for criminal justice and you've never worked in a marketing role ever? And I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Correct. And it was that point where I was trying to be confident, but in my head I was like, there is no way I'm gonna get this job because I wasn't paper qualified. But luckily, being a little bit of a millennial type company, Facebook, is. So they put me through to the interview. I, in my opinion, crushed the interview, was hired. And at that point I returned to the corporate world. I thought it had been a couple of years. I thought I was healed, and in air quotes, I thought I was ready to return to the normal, job process. And I enjoyed it. It's a great place to work. Again, that could be a whole other 1-hour interview. But at the end of the day, I've got now 4 children who are young, who are in school, who have IEPs, who have therapy appointments and doctor appointments and school plays and field trips and blah, 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 blah. And I did not want to be in a full-time job. So it was that, going back to the corporate job, I was at Facebook for about a year, and then I left on good terms. I still have so many good things to say about Facebook, which is probably obvious. And I needed to return to this entrepreneurial life, this freedom, this flexibility. I just realized that I've been changed internally. I'm no longer employable. I can't get a job. This is just the life I meant to live, is to call my own shots, to be my own boss. And so that's when I launched the Facebook marketing agency, kind of leveraging everything I had learned from Facebook. But I do still continue to blog. So on our travels, I still have a blog that I'm posting all our travel updates. I definitely wear a lot of hats. I have a lot of interests. I have a podcast, all that stuff. But Facebook is what pays my bills still.
Very nice. Now, Meg, you said so much good stuff in there.
Sorry, I babble a lot.
You really said so much good stuff in there. And when you said, I totally crushed the interview, I said, oh, of course you did. You had all that entrepreneurial experience. Right. That's what really helped you crush that interview.
Yeah.
The entrepreneurs cut themselves short because they think, I don't have it. But really, you have so much more than people in corporate do. I have worked in corporate and I know it. I mean, I I have been there, Meg, when you say I realize I'm unemployable. I've been there because when my business wasn't working, or I thought it wasn't working, it was me that wasn't working really. I said, I'm just going to give up and go back to corporate. And then
Right?
as I was looking for jobs and trying to clean up a very old resume, I was like, oh, I can't do this. I just can't. I said, if this doesn't work, I don't care. I'm going to stick with it. I said, because I'm just unemployable. I can't go back. I
Yeah.
can't. it's like we sound like we were in prison.
Right? And it's like, I don't know, I used to be a good employee. And I mean, I was still a good employee.
Right.
But there's just something about like having to punch a clock. And the actual kicker was my kid had a Thanksgiving play, and I had 1.67 hours of paid time off.
Yes.
And so here I am like, what am I going to do with 1.67 hours?
Yes.
I'm like adding in my lunch hour and if I could stay a little late because I wanted to go see her play. And it was that moment where I was like, I'm done. And I said that right around Thanksgiving, and I left in January of, not the same year, but 3 months later, 2 months later.
Right.
It took me a little bit of time just to kind of get the ducks in order, but I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I need to be true to myself and true to my family.
Absolutely. I agree that. Audience, I hope this is inspiring for you to be able to see it can be done. And sometimes we just don't have enough belief in ourselves to be able to cut that cord and walk away.
Right.
And sometimes it's so necessary. Yes, absolutely.
It wasn't all rainbows and butterflies, like we had some really tough times in those first months. But we had to just push through it and that's why I'm so passionate about helping other people get through their stuff. And like, I know that the way I can best help people is through Facebook marketing, because I didn't go to business school. I was a criminal justice major, so I can't help you with everything that you need to do to build a business. I have coaches and stuff that help me too, but I know I can help you with the marketing piece. So that's why I focus on the marketing piece, but I especially love working with women, specifically other moms who are in my position. I love being able to just help other moms spend more time with their kids because I know how important that is.
And I must say, and thank you for what you do. That is super important. Families are my priority in my business. I love family is priority one. And, I feel I couldn't do it when my kids were small. And boy, did I cry many days. I couldn't do it when my kids were small. And so I don't want moms to have that problem. I want them to be able to be at home with their kids if they want to be. Stop dropping them off to daycare. Stop sitting in traffic. All of that stuff. It's awful.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I love what you do. And this is the part of what you do that we need the most is what you do with Facebook. So tell us exactly how you work with clients with Facebook.
Sure. So let me start by telling really quickly, like what I did at Facebook. Sometimes I joke around and I tell people I was a janitor. No, I wasn't a janitor. No offense to janitors. So at Facebook, my official title, which seems funny, was Facebook marketing expert. Like that was legitimately my title. So I still use that now. And sometimes people are like, who named you an expert? I was like, Facebook did.
Yes. Yes.
So that was my title there. And that program, basically what it is, and some of you may be familiar with it, like you'll get a phone call or an email if you're running ads that says, hey, I'm from Facebook and I want to help you optimize your ads. It's very customer service. There are ways to prove that it's actually Facebook because, phishing scams are so common these days, but it is a way that Facebook does outreach. And I was that person. So I would reach out to people who are already advertising on the platform. Facebook gave me like a book of business. So I had specific people to reach out to. And it looked like customer service. I'm here to help make sure that you can get better results. But at the end of the day, when you look at it, that's a sales position. Because if you're getting good results on Facebook ads, where are you going to spend your next $20? You're going to put it on Facebook ads because I'm going to teach you how to make $20, $40, or $20, $100. So it looked like customer service. but at its core, it was sales. So it was, I was still measured based on like sales goals and lift, and there were commissions involved. Um,
Okay.
so it's kind of interesting. Like that's where I came from. Well, being in that position, I saw a lot of stuff, right? Because I had like basically analyst access to everything, to my clients.
Mhm.
And I could see a lot of stuff. I saw a lot of agencies. I saw a lot of things that were going wrong, and a lot of agencies that were doing injustices to their clients. I had one person who, um, big agency, multiple like staff, website, not like a person, but like an agency. And they were violating policies. They weren't using the tracking pixel for their clients. And
Oh,
when I brought it to their attention, the woman told me it sounded like I had like big plans and they simply didn't have time to implement all of those plans. And I'm thinking, these people are paying you money and you're not doing the best job for them. And I knew I could do better. And that was what kind of made me take that leap. So when I first started the business, and I still offer this service, but when I first started, I offered one-on-one services. So you have a business, I will do your marketing. We have some communication, but I basically do it all for you. I still offer that. That was my first service. Then I started expanding it a little bit. Then I offered mentorship. So I would come across people who said, I don't know that I really want to outsource it. I kind of want to learn it myself. So then I taught them and I copied exactly the process we used at Facebook. Why recreate the wheel? At Facebook, it was a 3-month program. So my mentorship is a 3-month program. At Facebook, they were 30-minute calls once a week. I do 45-minute to an hour calls once a week. So I very similarly modeled that program
mm-hmm.
because I know it worked, because Facebook invested tons of money into testing things like that. So I just kind of lifted it. Then I launched a course. So now I'm like building my offerings out so that I can kind of meet people where they're at. Then I offered the course, which opened for launches 2 to 3 times a year, but I'm changing that this year. There's no date or anything, but at some point it will be launching as a membership program. So you can actually get in at a lower price point when you pay monthly, or you could buy like a year or a lifetime membership, but I'll have those options. And again, it's a way for me to try to make it more accessible, because I really, yes, part of it is making money, right? Like I need to put milk on the table, like we
Right.
all do. But a big part of it is trying to make sure that I can serve everybody in the way that they need to be served. Like the way they can afford to be served, the way that they need to be served. So that's what I'm really trying to expand my offerings. And that's how I always recommend for people who are like trying to launch their business. I didn't start with like 82 things, but it's slowly growing that way.
That's very nice. I love the fact that you are doing things to make it more affordable because that has been um one of the things with me, Meg, is that all right, I got to spend money on these ads, and then I got to spend money on an expert to help me implement the ads. And what I've learned, because I've tried before, let's see, I think I've had 3 different experts help me with the ads. And what I've learned is that every expert, Facebook gave you that name, but every expert is not an expert. Many
Sure.
of them are still learning how to do Facebook ads. So I actually pitched that idea. Now I know I have been, trust me, I know I've not used Meg, but I have been in um I've been in several like meetings with Meg. One, you remember we were at that one conference together,
Yep.
and Meg knows her stuff. Meg can say some stuff that'll make your head swim. You're like, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Like, you got to back up. You got to say that slowly. Um, and so I know that Meg is the expert. When I go back to that Facebook ads world, Meg is my go-to girl already, hands down. I
Well,
know.
thank you.
Yeah, because I've had, like I said, you have to be wary. of the experts that you do hire, especially in the social media world,
Yeah.
simply because it's so particular and people are trying to learn it,
Yep.
but they need to be honest about that.
There's a lot of courses. There's a lot of courses that teach how to be a social media marketing person. So
Yeah.
it's like, it's important, and a person is only going to be as good as their teacher was. So it's important to know where people got their education or experience, both, so that you can kind of verify that it's going to be applicable, for
Yes.
you, and that it sounds, and there's some really great training programs. And now I have to be honest here, like, I haven't been through any of these training programs,
Well, you
but
got trained by the granddaddy of them all.
but I know, like, from people I've met online, there's a couple that I already have some respect for, because I see the quality of the students they churn out.
Good.
But there's some that I see that I don't respect as much because they have slimier tactics. And
Right.
part of it's like, have you heard of bro marketing?
Yes.
Get content. Like, it's that kind of stuff where I'm like, no.
No. And I hate that. I really do hate that. But that is a good question to ask, audience. Meg brings up a good point. Ask, how did you learn? Where did you get your training on how to do Facebook ads? Because they didn't just wake up one day and know.
And another really good question that I think a lot of people don't think to ask is, find out if this prospective ads manager, are they in any mastermind groups? Like, how do you stay up to date with the changes? Because I can tell you what I do, and I feel like I do a good job of keeping my finger on the pulse by going to industry leading conferences, and you'll see pictures and stuff of me, like, I'm actually there, I'm actually learning. And I'm in mastermind groups with other social media marketers, because that's the other piece of it, is that what works today may not work tomorrow, because social media changes so quickly. So you really have to be, knee deep into the trenches. And it's really helpful when you have other social media marketers that are willing and able to mastermind together, because it's a constant process of testing. So that's another question that I get asked sometimes, but not often enough, by prospective clients. So I would recommend, if you're going to hire somebody, like, you really want to know where they learned, and you want to know how they're continuing to learn, and whether they're masterminding with people. I feel like those are 3 things people miss.
That was good tips, Meg. Good. I wish I had met you before I hired those other people.
Oh, no.
It's like, oh, I was so mad at myself. And so, Meg, explain to my audience, because Facebook is really the granddaddy. I said you work for the granddaddy of them all.
Yeah.
It really is. Tell us why you feel that that everyone, there are a lot of different platforms out there, and people have a lot of different opinions as to which platform you should be on for which kind of business and all this good. But tell me, I feel that I gotta be on Facebook. I can't leave it. Why?
Because, well, Facebook is the biggest, like, period, like, number one. I'm pretty sure, and they released their new numbers. I think they're up to 2.6 billion now, worldwide users. Now I'm, like, doubting myself. Could it be 2.4? Either way, it's over 2 billion people, at or approaching 2.5 billion people worldwide. These are huge numbers. And Facebook, they do periodically go through and clean up. So if there's like fake accounts, they get rid of those. So these are huge numbers worldwide. You can't get those numbers anywhere else. And now, organic reach can be iffy right now. We know that. But when you look at paid ads, the cost per impression on Facebook ads is pennies compared to anything else. Like, you don't get cheaper impressions anywhere. And now, I'm not saying impressions should be your goal. We'll talk about ads later. But impressions are, like, the only thing you can use as a standard, because when you're looking at something like, I'm going to pick, like, the worst example, billboards. the billboard on the street. You can't track a conversion off that. You just can't. But you could track an impression,
Right.
based loosely. So it's like the cost per impression on a newspaper or a magazine or other social media platforms. Facebook is going to dominate that. So I feel like that's the number one. People are on Facebook. There's some concern, quote unquote, that the younger generations are not on Facebook. Like that and I don't even know that it's millennials. It's whoever's younger than millennials now. But it's like those like teens that they're thinking that Facebook's for old people like us, right?
Yeah.
And like that's old people over like 25, like those old 25-year-olds. But
Right.
here's the thing. So number one, Facebook as a platform owns Instagram. So in one sense,
Wow.
they're still connected, right? They're still connected in one sense. And in another sense, Facebook is this huge, huge company. Most people don't even know all of what Facebook does. Like they have an entire branch of the company that does like augmented reality and the VR headsets, like the Oculus. Like they're a tech company. They're not just a social media platform. So this is also important to kind of keep in mind. Every year they have a developer conference, and some of this is going a little bit beyond business,
Right.
but they're very in tune with what people want as far as experiences in general. So they're constantly improving this platform to try to attract the subsets that they're not getting right now. So those younger people who are currently like, Facebook's for old people. Facebook is tweaking and making changes all of the time to bring those people in. And they've done a really good job so far between Instagram and Facebook. So even if you're like, your people are on Instagram, you still need that Facebook presence because you're going to link your Instagram business account to your Facebook business account. So even if you're saying, I don't care, Facebook is still for old people and those aren't my people, I'm going to stay on Instagram, you still need a Facebook page to link to an Instagram business page to make that happen. And so this is a kind of, again, I'm going to jump all over the place, but with Instagram, that's another thing that comes up. Should I have a business page or not? Instagram doesn't penalize business pages, but when you have a business page, you get more insights. So like you want those analytics. So you 100% want to have an Instagram business page, Facebook business page. And I tell people the Facebook business page is the modern day equivalent of a storefront. Mm-hmm. So this is a true story. I went, traveling to my mom's and she was like, oh, let's go to, ABC Pizza for dinner. And I looked it up on Facebook. I'm like, Mom, they're not open anymore. Like they haven't posted since like 2018. She's like, we went there last week. I was like, oh, then we need to go. They need me. Like, let's go.
Oh, wow.
You need to have something on your Facebook page. I am not the only one who looks to Facebook to see, are there deals, are there specials, are there, whatever. So you need to have a Facebook page. You don't have to be posting there 82 times a day, but you need to have current information on your Facebook page. People will find you there.
That is a very good reason why. Meg, I look people in places and things up on Facebook all the time.
Yeah.
To see if it's, when people friend me, if they don't have something current on their page, I don't accept them.
No.
I mean,
right.
And so Facebook is really, to me, and now I'm going to be totally transparent. Social media at large is not my favorite thing.
Sure.
It's a time suck. It's like, and so many people to me use it for the wrong things. I mean, yes. they just put way too much information on Facebook for me. But for my business, Facebook is very valuable, and I don't discount that. And so as business owners, I think we all need to at least have a presence on Facebook. And so
100%.
Yeah, Meg just gave you some really, really good reasons why.
And number one, it needs to be a business page. So, and I don't mean to like ask questions for you, but again, I hear a lot of people that say, well, what about I'll have a Facebook group instead because groups have better reach. And I think groups are great. Like I said, your page is like your storefront and your group is your community. So have a group to build that community,
Right.
but you also need a storefront. You need the Facebook page because it's just, that's where people are going to look for business presence. And if you're going to advertise, you need a business page. Like, there's so many reasons why a page is needed. Set the page up first, then worry about creating a group, and you can link them so that
Yes.
people can find each, platform or each asset easier. But definitely the page is necessary.
Yes, absolutely. I totally agree. Totally, totally. Meg, let's take a short break and I'll be right back. And when Meg comes back, she is going to dig into the algorithm of all things Facebook. So we'll be right back. Hey, Kimberly Wiggins with Inspired Women, Amazing Lives here. Have you been dying to share your voice in a much bigger way to make even greater impact at what you do? Are you holding yourself back from being more visible in your niche? No surprise here. I know many people who are doing the same thing every single year and wishing they hadn't. You must decide to take action right now. Nothing beats that. So, are you ready to share your voice in a big way? I'm offering you the opportunity to finish off 2019 like never before, so you can look back and finally see the people you have impacted and the lives you have changed. Podcasting can help you do that. It will allow you to express yourself and be heard in a much greater way so that your message can add value to the lives of others. Isn't that what you really, really want? Check out my Podcasting Made Easy program right now at inspiredwomenamazinglives.com. Let's shift things for your life and business before 2019 is over. Use the code POD for 50% off the Podcasting Made Easy. All right, we're back. And Meg, let me ask you this. Now, there are some people that use Facebook in a lot of different ways. But what would you say is the most effective way to get reach with your Facebook? What is the most effective way to use Facebook to obtain that reach as an average user? Not as one of those. There are some people I consider power users. Just as an average user, you post maybe once a day. You may do a Facebook Live once or twice a week. What is the most effective way to get reach?
So number one, you touched on Facebook Live. That is something that some people aren't doing. And if you're not doing it, I'm going to encourage you to do it. Video gets more engagement, more reach than non-video, like whether that any type of non-video. And then live video gets more interaction and engagement than pre-recorded video. So I definitely think live video should be a part of your strategy. I encourage you to do once a week. I encourage you to build in some consistency. So every Wednesday at 10 or whatever. When it comes to scheduling, a big tip I have for people is to schedule what works for you. It sounds weird, but don't worry about your audience. So many people spend so much time thinking, oh, what time will my audience show up? Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter if you can't be fully present. So find a time that you can put into your schedule that you know isn't going to be, impacted by the kids or whatever, and actually put it in your calendar so that people can't schedule appointments during that time. I'm talking like a half an hour, and you don't even have to go live for a half an hour. It could be a 10-minute live, but this gives you some time to like plan and then like breathe afterwards. So be consistent with it, and know that with lives, even Oprah or whoever you want to pick gets more people on her replays than she does live. So you're going to start out feeling like you're talking to an empty room.
Yes.
And you just got to talk to that empty room, because people will watch the replay. They will. And if you, and everybody grows at different rates. So you could be talking to an empty room for months and it can feel discouraging, and you could feel it can feel stupid, to be honest. Like, what am I doing this for if nobody's paying attention? But people notice. I promise you they notice. That impact is invisible, but it is there. So number one, introducing that into your schedule or into your processes. Number two is post a variety of content. So I have like a 3-prong approach. I want you to post only about a third of your content should be promotional. So again, like you mentioned earlier, people don't like being sold to. They don't come to Facebook to buy things in most cases, right? They're here to build relationships. They're here to learn, but they're not here to buy stuff. So make sure only about a third of your content is promotional. The other third of your content, or another third of your content, should be educational. So this is where you provide value without being pitchy, right? Like, it's just teaching, it's giving them information. It may include sharing content from other experts who are not in direct competition with you. So like, you don't want to share stuff from your direct competition, because that might, like, you don't want to send people if you're Walmart, you're not trying to send people to Target, but you want to find people that are complementary. So like, I can use myself easily. I run Facebook ads. I have a really good friend that does copy, and she focuses on email copy specifically, which fits really nice with Facebook. And sometimes our content overlaps, but our end offers are distinct and different. And we have a very similar ideal customer. So it's brainstorming who those like power partners are for you and share their content. This is going to be great because it's going to be relevant to your audience. So they're going to learn from it. They're going to appreciate it. And it's also going to help you build relationships with other experts in the field who will see that you're sharing their content more, you're engaging with their content. And then that's going to set you up for, number one, referral partners from other businesses, and number two, potentially collaboration partners, whether that's a podcast guest or a mastermind member. So it's a really good way to make it social. And then the third piece is I just consider it engagement content, which means this is personal as much as you're willing to be personal. If you're comfortable introducing your kids into the process, give some content that just shares some insight into who you are and what you're doing. And you can tie it back to your business, but you want to be able to initiate conversations on a personal level, because people like doing business with people, not with other businesses. So don't make, it can be appealing, or it can seem appealing to make it want to seem like you are a business. But you also want people to know that there's a real person behind that business who isn't seeing them as just a number. So having some balance there between promotional, educational, and then just kind of engaging content. Then, sorry, this is a really long answer. No. Now that you've got some variety, the thing that a lot of people miss is that they need to analyze the statistics. Like, now go into your insights after you've had this new strategy for a month, or maybe even for 2 or 3 months. Just do it. Just plow through it. Then go look at the data and take a look at what are people engaging with. Look for trends between, video and images, between long copy and short copy, between the educational and the entertaining and the promotional content. Now, of course, you're never going to wipe out promotional content, even if it doesn't get the engagement that you want, but maybe you start to incorporate more of the educational stuff into your pitches, or more, you're learning from all this data. So look at your insights and then try to produce more content that your page is actually responding to. But you're not going to know what that is unless you hit it with a wide net first. and throw a bunch of stuff out there to see what people are responding to.
Love it. Yes. I was taking notes. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to put this in the show notes. Yeah. Because this was good stuff. That is so. This audience, I would say this is number one. This is where you can start increasing the engagement on your Facebook page overall immediately, because she gave you some very specific things. And if you are having problems with doing Facebook Lives, reach out to me. I'm just going to plug that right here. I'm
Yeah,
Meg, and I'm sorry for having to plug that, but
you're good.
that is one of my passions, is getting women to stop hiding, to be visible in their businesses. And a part of that is doing Facebook Lives. And that's something that I teach women how to do so that they can be visible. Not because sure, I'm going to get paid for it, but I really want you to be visible in your business so you can make money.
Right. And it's a great way. Live is just a great way to connect with people. I mean, video is a great way to connect with people. Video calls, like we're recording this video call. It's a great way to connect with people. So there are tons, and I'm sure you've got tons of additional tips that are going to make your live. I mean, that could be an entire hour training on Facebook Live. So tons of tips and how to make it easier. I'm going to drop one more. My favorite tip for making it easier. I think a lot of people get discouraged by the technology of it.
Yes.
Like, what button do I push and how do I do it? And my favorite tip to give people is that you can go live from your personal profile and set your, oh my gosh, why am I missing the word? You set it to only me, like your audience.
Right.
So now you can practice going live and nobody else will see it but you. So it lets you get comfortable with the tech. It lets you get comfortable, because it can feel weird to be talking to a camera. I've done lives like in public places with people around me, and I feel totally weird because it's awkward, but it gets you comfortable with that process and with the technology. So I'm like, start there, just get comfortable with it. And then you can even take a baby step and like go live in a group. It's a smaller group of people. But ultimately, your goal should be going live from your business page, because leading into advertising, you can create audiences of people who've watched your videos as long as they're on your business page. So not in your group, not in your personal profile, but on your business page. And then you can run ads to those people to convert them later on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you hit that right on, going live where only you can see you on that Facebook page it's baby step number one, and it's wonderful. It works wonders. I even have people, you're only going to do a 3 to 5 minute live for the first time, and you're going to run through that right there while it's only you, so it's a really good way. Thank you, Meg. I appreciate that.
Of course.
Because we want to get people out there doing Facebook Lives.
Yes.
Now I want to discuss the recent Facebook algorithm changes.
Sure.
Oh boy. Yeah. What are those changes, and how do they affect the everyday average users?
So the algorithm changes quite frequently, relatively frequently. Let me say too that Facebook has they have a developer conference every year. And so they'll typically at that conference, which tends to be in May, reveal new initiatives. And those new initiatives are what the algorithm will be like adapting to roll out or to meet. So those changes though don't all happen at once. They happen in time. So I kind of want to put that out there, because here we are, like I may say something right now and then it may change tomorrow. So it's important to know like kind of how that process works.
Right.
Now again, before I talk too much about these specific changes, the other thing it's important to know, so that you don't get mad at the algorithm, right? It's easy to think that the algorithm is evil, because it keeps us from our people. But I really want to make sure people understand Facebook's mission, right? Like when we started a business, I'm willing to bet everybody who's listening, like you have a why. If somebody asked you, like, tell me your why, you would be able to say it, right? Facebook has a mission too. So when you ask Facebook, tell me your why, Facebook wants to build a community, build a world that is closer together. And I used to know the exact mission and I don't anymore. But it's all about building that sense of community through authentic relationships. So Facebook is a business and they need to make money, but their number one concern is not you, the advertiser. Their number one concern is you, the user of the platform. So every single algorithm change is put into place not to squeeze more money out of you, the business owner, but to give the user what they want. And as a user, you do not buy a magazine just to see advertisements. You buy a magazine for content and the advertisements are limited. And therefore, Facebook put limits on business pages and they limit the ads. But they're not dumb. They know business pages are mostly advertisements. I mean, you're trying to build your business. That's why you have a business page. So that's why those things are limited. I know I may not be the typical user, but I encourage you just for like a fun project, look at how many friends you have on Facebook. Then look at how many groups you're in and how many pages you follow. Now, add all those numbers together and it's going to be a ginormous number. Now, imagine if each one of those assets posted 3 times a day. So multiply that out. And how long would it take you to consume all that? You cannot consume all the content from all the people, places, and things that you're interested in. So the algorithm is also a tool to help figure out what is going to be best suited for you, because Facebook wants you to spend a lot of time on the platform, right? We don't like seeing bounce rates either. We want people to hang out on our website. So they're trying to figure out how to show you the right information that'll keep you on their platform the longest. I think when you start to like break it down and see Facebook not as this ginormous corporation, but as like another small business owner, which I know they're not, but you know, when you look at it from that perspective, it's like, oh, I understand why the algorithm is there. And that's why you play by those rules and you follow the best practices. And it's also why you don't do the sketchy stuff. Like there's a lot of sketchy ways to beat the system, but the algorithm's going to sneak up and catch you doing them or change the rules because it's not genuine and authentic. So I just like introducing that so that we can stop feeling like animosity towards the algorithm and just start learning how to leverage it, not work against it. Okay. So now that
I love that because you made me see, you painted a picture to let me see it in a different light. Because yes, I thought it was the evil one. It's like, this is the devil. But yeah, now
it's frustrating. It's especially frustrating when you're a good person, you're a good business owner, you're not trying to be sleazy and slimy. You just want to make a nice post and have your fans see it. And you may have maybe you've got 100 fans or 1,000 fans. And it can be really discouraging when you see that it reached only 10 people. You're like, wait, what? But when you think about all that, it's like, okay, well, all 1,000 people can't see everything from every page. So the trick is, how do I get people to engage with my content? So here's how does the algorithm decide, right? The algorithm, let me back up. The algorithm looks at the user, the end user, and it looks at the originating user. So the business page. So we're talking about you right now. You sign on to Facebook and it's going to look at you and say, what does she engage with? What has she engaged with in the past 28 days? Oh, she watches a lot of video. So let's see what's out there that's video we could show her. She's recently engaged with cat content in Target, and she's interested in email marketing. So now it's going to look at all of the people, places, and things you follow and see which content is going to be best suited for you. But then also at the same time, it's going to look at like all of the content creators, and it's going to say, okay, we've got these 10 cat videos, and I know that I want to show the user one. Which one do I show them? Well, this one has more views and more comments, and people are sharing it more often. Therefore, it's probably a better video, so I'll show her this one. You know, it's like this,
Wow.
so much goes on in the background, but now what you need to do with your content, that's why you really need to try to engage as many people as possible, because once somebody engages with you, they are more likely to see your content for the next 28 days. So then you have to get them to engage with you again so that they stay in that 28-day bucket and continue seeing more and more of your content.
That makes sense. Now,
And also, you know, encouraging without asking them to oh, go ahead.
no, I was going to say, when you say engage, just for clarification, are you saying they're commenting on my stuff, or are they, or simply viewing my videos? Is that engagement?
And that's a good question. So there's a two-sided answer. So engagement does mean anything. Viewing the content, clicking on the content, commenting, sharing, reacting, which I say instead of liking, because now there's like hearts and ha-has and stuff. So any of that stuff. And it could be clicking to a link or clicking to your Facebook page. That's all engagement. However, not all engagement is perceived as equal from Facebook's perception. So the best form of engagement is actually a comment that is authentic, that is more than a couple words. So what they don't want to see is a post and then everybody writing, yes, 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 yes. That doesn't look authentic. They want a post. They want a short response. They want to see comments under that response. Again, they're looking to build community. And what does a community do? They communicate. So
Right.
they want to see that communication. Now, from there, and Facebook, let me just also say, they don't post this like exact algorithm anywhere. These are all concepts that have been taught. They don't want to post the exact equations, because people will try to beat them and break them.
Right.
And they know that. So these are like, there's not like an exact point system I can tell you, but like after the comments, then you're going to look at shares and tagging users in the comments to, like, again, share the information. Then you're looking at likes and reactions, and then you're going to look at like the views or the clicks. So it's based on like how much effort the user is putting towards the engagement. So they're not all created equal, but they are all engagement, and getting views is better than nothing.
Wow. Very interesting. Wow, wow, wow. And so, with all of these algorithm changes, and I know that you're going to probably give us, as we move along here, some more best practices we can use in
Sure.
making those changes. You talked about Instagram already and how it ties to Facebook. Is it really wise to pair the two and always use the two together?
So I think it's good to link them, right? Like, you want your Instagram to be a business page, and that requires you to connect it to a Facebook business page. So just having them connected in that way. When it comes to actually like the content you're sharing, it's a little bit of a gray area. So Facebook and Instagram, I believe that they are two totally separate ecosystems,
Right.
right? Like, different content resonates differently in those places, even with the same person. I go to Facebook for something different than I go to Instagram. So like, I don't really want to see your Facebook post on Instagram, and I don't want to see your Instagram post on Facebook.
That's
So
interesting. I didn't know
I
that.
I generally keep the content separate, but it can be similar. And I'll give you an example. I'm just kind of outlining. But that all being said, I also see a benefit to an occasional share. Like, it's really easy. You can share your Instagram posts directly to Facebook. And I think that can be beneficial from time to time. because it's almost a way of just cross promoting your Instagram, account. So if I'm on Facebook and I see a post that's clearly an Instagram post, and you can tell based on how it's formatted, like if you're savvy with Instagram, you can tell without them saying, this is from Instagram. So you can see that it was shared directly. And then I will go and search out that user on Instagram so that I can see their content there. So it's almost a good cross promotion, but I do like keeping them separate. So on Instagram, my number one thing is the image itself. So Facebook's images, Facebook's content can be more raw and real because Facebook's kind of a raw and real platform.
Okay.
Instagram, though, is more of like a perfectionist platform, right? Pictures should be pretty. The the images are more curated, and it's a little different with stories, but I'm talking about feeds right now. So there's more curation in the feeds. You're looking for those big beautiful photos that are really going to catch people's attentions, and sometimes they can work on both platforms, but sometimes they don't. So I also like to keep all my Instagram photos square. You can post rectangular photos on Instagram. That's I mean, I say relatively new. It's probably been like 3 years. It's not new. But a long time ago, it used to only be square, and then they opened it up. So you can do rectangular images, and I'm not going to pretend like sometimes one doesn't sneak through, but I do think that there is that like iconic um, format for the Instagram post that people know, love, and expect, right? So I won't post, like I'll post a rectangular photo on Facebook, but I want to adapt it into a square. And if it doesn't adapt well, I may pick a different photo for Instagram. And then I could use similar content. But also, like Instagram, I always make use of my 30 hashtags. You get a 30 max hashtag limit
Oh,
on
wow.
Instagram. So
Hmm.
I always make use of all 30. Some people put them in the comments. I tack them onto the end of my description. There's some people that believe one works over the other, but I haven't had any concrete proof to that. So I'm just going to tell you what I do and what other people do. But I want that because those are ways for you to get discovered. So I put them at the end. Sometimes I work them in organically, but mostly I'll just tack them on at the end so that it has the likelihood of being discovered when people are searching or following hashtags. But on Facebook, hashtags are just more for fun on Facebook. It doesn't have the same searchability functions. I think they can still be like I have friends who post the most creative hashtags that just get a chuckle out, get a chuckle out of me. But Facebook hashtags are fun. Instagram hashtags are necessary. So that's another element where if you see like 30 hashtags on a Facebook post, you're like, whoa, what are these people doing?
Yeah.
So some slight differences, just an example of how that would play out.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'm not an Instagram person. I have an account there, but I don't know what I'm doing over there. I'm so
It's a whole other ball game.
yeah, I'm being honest. I don't know what I'm doing over there. So, all right. So, what is your take on Facebook ads versus organic reach? How is the average user? How should they view Facebook ads versus organic reach? How should they work to use Facebook
Sure.
ads? That kind of thing.
So number one, organic reach is difficult, but it's also necessary to post organic content. So even if you're running Facebook ads, you should have Facebook content on your page organically. You can choose to use a scheduling tool, and I do. Again, there's two sides of this. That some people say they don't see this, they see worse reach with scheduling tools. From the research I've done, I don't notice a huge difference. And on the flip side, I get more reach because I'm able to post more content. I think the challenge with scheduling tools is not making it sound like you scheduled it through a scheduling tool. So like you have to write it in a way that still feels like you actually signed in and are having a conversation with a person and not just plowing through scheduling tool content. So that's a little bit there. I do like using that because it helps ensure that I always have fresh content on my page. The
Okay.
decision to run Facebook ads can be really difficult, and Facebook makes it really easy because they put boost buttons all over your page. You'll probably see messages that's like, this ad is performing better than 90% of your other posts. If you
Yeah.
throw $10 at it, you can reach 2,000 people or whatever. I don't recommend boosting very often. So let's talk about the difference between a boost and an ad. And this is complicated, and it's complicated because I worked at Facebook. Because and I don't want anybody to think that a boost is not an ad, because a boost is an ad. It's just a type of ad. And it's a type that doesn't typically work very well. And the reason why is another name for a boosted post is a page post engagement ad. And what that means is you're telling Facebook when you boost a post that the number one most important thing to you right now is that this post gets more engagement. So just like let that sink in for a minute. This post gets clicks, reactions, views, likes, shares, etc. What you're not telling Facebook is that you want to get a lead or a phone call or a sale.
Mm.
How many how
Gotcha.
many how much engagement actually puts $1 in your pocket? Like, if you can find the answer to that, I would love to know, because I have never been paid $1 for engagement. So you want to be careful that you're not just donating money to the Mark Zuckerberg fund. He has enough money.
Yeah.
You need to have a plan so that every dollar you put into Facebook is going to come back to you with a return. So with a profit. $1, you put $1 in, you get $2 out. There should be a plan there. So I don't want you to just boost posts and run these post engagements, because you think it's a good post. And then I always see people that say, well, I invested $500 and I got nothing. Well, what did you do? Well, I boosted these posts. Well, what did you want? I wanted people to opt in and then buy my product. I'm like, but you didn't tell Facebook that. Like, you told Facebook you wanted engagement. So it's this misunderstanding of even what the ads do or what they're capable of doing. So another element is that boost, that button on your page is it's like the quick checkout line. So you push the button, it's like a pop-up, and you don't have as many options for optimizing the delivery of your ad. Now, if you're a brand new user, the reason that's there is to appeal to those brand new users so they don't get overwhelmed with lots of stuff. But I want to let you know that even if you go into the big and scary ads manager as a brand new user, everything is set to default to what is the best option in 99.9% of cases. So you don't have to, as a beginner, you don't have to worry about all the advanced setting and bidding strategies and all of those crazy confusing things. Go with the recommended stuff. We'll teach you some strategy. I'm not going to send you in there and just blindly. We'll teach you some strategy that'll get you started, and then do everything else recommended. Then when you get the strategy set, then you can start to dive deeper into how to perfect and fine tune that strategy. But you don't have to automatically be overwhelmed with all of the options. So I always recommend building through Ads Manager, and I don't recommend boosting. And I also I'm trying to make sure I answer the question too, and don't just go off on my own tangents. I've got four elements that I really look for when a prospective client comes to me and says, I want to run Facebook ads. So let me outline what these are, and then that should help provide some clarity too. So if you can get these 4 things set up in your business, you'll be ready to run Facebook ads. So the first thing is that you have a validated offer. So that's a proven product, which means somebody has paid for this before. Like I said, you don't, especially as a beginner, you don't want to have to validate something through Facebook ads, because it's going to be expensive to validate it from scratch. So instead, make sure your audience actually wants what you're offering and people are buying it. Once you've got that checked off, the next thing you really need to have is an effective follow-up, so like an email sequence. The goal of your ads is really one goal should be to grow your email list always. Like lead ads, generating leads for your business should always be a primary goal, no matter what business you are in. And it's because Facebook is a borrowed platform. Facebook could go away tomorrow. Think about MySpace, think about Friendster. They could go away tomorrow, and then what would happen to all of your following? Could you still connect with the people who like your page and the people who are in your group? If the answer is no, you need to work on an email strategy, like right now, because you have to be prepared for that. If my account gets shut down tomorrow, I have an email list that I can shoot them a message and be like, find me on TikTok. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can do that. So you need, email marketing is not dead. And Facebook
Right.
ads, I'm going to get into this in a minute. Facebook ads are not, it's not a magic wand. So you need to have a follow-up sequence. People don't typically buy the first time they see you. They may not even buy the second time they see you. I've heard, at least it's very common to hear 7 touches before somebody will make a purchase. It's not always true, but you want to have a follow-up, a way that people can get to know you, a way you can educate and provide value and, develop a relationship with people so that it's nurturing them to make a purchase with you. So the validated offer, an email follow-up sequence. My third thing, which I think people are probably getting just from listening to this, is realistic expectations.
Right.
So a long-term mindset. It is not a magic wand. If you're going to hire, an expert to do one-on-one work, you also need to have ad spend for that person. I have a story of early on in my entrepreneurship career where somebody hired me and I didn't get all of this yet. Do you know what I mean? Like, there was still a learning process for building my own business. So I didn't get all of this part yet. She hired me, she was paying my monthly fees, and then one day she came to me and said, I have to go down to $5 a day because I can't afford you and my Facebook ads.
Yes.
Well, I am not, like, $5 a day can be good for some things. I have some clients successfully doing that for leads, but she was selling a course and we were still in a launch phase. So do you know what I mean? Like, this was a launch of a course and I'm like, this isn't going to work. So we ended up terminating the contract. I think we ended it the way we should have. But you need to have realistic expectations that this is a long-term investment, that people, they need to get to know you, like you, and trust you. And also that what worked for one client may not work the same way for another client, even in similar markets. It's matching voices and customizing your message. And what worked last month may not work next month. So there's lots of testing that happens, and it happens ongoing. Like, if you have an ads manager who doesn't test things, that's a problem.
Oh,
Because even if right now things are going really good for you, and I have stories for days, but I have a client who things were going really well for her. She was getting like 50-cent leads. Like, things are going great. Why should we change anything? Well, how do we know we couldn't do better? So we tried something different, and now we've also tried things that didn't work, but we managed to try something different. Her leads went as low as 14 cents a lead. No, not consistently. Like, she's
right.
averaging around 25, 30 cents right now. But if we hadn't tested something, if we had operated off of this belief that 50 cents was really great, which it was, we never would have found something that worked better. So you always need to be testing things. And you just cannot expect to see big returns right away. Sometimes it happens. It's kind of like those weight loss commercials, but results are not typical. So have long-term mindset, be in it for the long haul, have realistic expectations. And then the number 4 thing is to have, and this is in quotes, a high enough lifetime customer value. So lifetime customer value, like, what that means is when you get like a new client, they may only pay you like $40 in the beginning. Like, maybe you have like a small tripwire, right? Like a $50 or just a $99 phone call with you. But what's their lifetime value? Are they likely to go from that into like a long-term coaching program? So their value may be $5,000 because they could go through your entire like funnel
Mhm.
and and earn you $5,000. You need to have, and I'm not saying it has to be $5,000, but you need to have a high enough lifetime customer value to justify the money you're putting into ads.
Right.
So you don't want to be investing $100 a day into ads if you're only closing 10 clients and they're only going to give you $10 each. Like, you have to have enough offers, enough ways for these people to continue to work for you to make it make sense. So if right now in your business you only really have like a $50 product, like maybe it's something you've created or a planner or something, I'm not saying you can't run ads, but you're going to have to be careful about how much you're investing, because once that user gets the planner, they're not going to buy another $50 planner until next year. So you have to understand the lifetime customer value and how likely you are to make a new customer, and then how much you can spend to acquire that new customer. Otherwise, you could hemorrhage money on Facebook and you won't know until you're in the hole that you're not making that profit back. Does that kind of make sense? I feel like that's the most complicated one to really understand, is understanding the flow of money.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, it does make sense. Um, now the and I love those 4 steps. I can't wait to put those in the show notes. um, um, Sometimes, we as business owners, we see things on Facebook and we think, and I'll give you an example of that. I saw an offer recently that showed up in my Facebook for email marketing.
Mm-hmm.
She was doing email templates for $27, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we look at that offer and we may buy it and we may think, oh, wow, this was genius. I could do the same thing. I could do a $27 offer and, on this lady's page, because I checked out the page, she had a ticker on it. So it was telling you how many purchases had been made, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at the purchases and you look at the $27 and you do the math, it's like she sold $60,000 worth of product for $27.
Yeah.
So someone could look at that and say, oh, wow, I want to do an ad. I could do that. I could do that as an ad. Without really knowing what the full business situation is for that person. Right. They're just looking on the outside. They could say that and they could really think that they could make that happen. But when they come to you, you're able to evaluate everything through this lens with these 4 steps, and right. You're being able to give them realistic expectations from what they're doing. You will be able to honestly say, well, listen, if you really want to do this, you can, but I wouldn't advise it because, we don't know what that business situation, but I saw her do it. But here's where your business is.
Right. And then not knowing her exact funnel, I'm making some assumptions here, but my guess is that she has a way that you can take some sort of a course. And that course is probably like $200. I'm just picking something. And then there's probably also a way that you can work with her one-on-one, and that's going to be a couple $1,000s. So now she's got these offers, and I see this strategy a lot, and I think it's a great strategy. I really do. And I may even go there someday, but it's offering a really inexpensive tripwire offer, $27, let's just say. And the only goal is to get your leads for under $27.
Yeah.
Like, smart. Or, because then those ads are paying for themselves. Like, that's the goal, is to cover, like, the goal isn't for her to profit. If she made $60,000, I'm willing to bet she's invested $60,000 into ads. Her goal is to grow her audience for free by providing value. Yeah. And then she's using her, if she's an email strategist, she's definitely using her email funnel to get you to invest more with her. Because we also know that once you make a small purchase with somebody, you're more likely to make more purchases with them. It's just one of those psychological things. Like,
Right.
oh, I've bought a little product from her before. I would spend more money with her, so it's like, yes, that sounds quick and easy, but it's a part of a bigger strategy. And only know, like, I get this a lot when people will see an ad that they really like Happy or Creative, and it looks like it performed well. It's got lots of engagement. So they're like, let's do that. I'm like, but here's the thing. We can try it. I'm not saying we can't try it, but I want you to have the realistic expectation that this could be a boosted post that is performing really well. You see all the engagement, but we don't know if it's converting, if it's selling anything. So with it's limited information, and you have to keep all of that in mind, because quite honestly, I don't care how many likes you get to your Facebook page. I care how many dollars you get in your bank account, because I want you to be building your business. I want to keep working with you. Do you know what I mean? So I want you to keep building your business. I want you to be able to afford me. I want you to be able to afford your ads. And this all keeps on going.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Now, Meg, when you are working with someone on their Facebook ads, let's just say we'll do a little coaching here. All right. So I come to you and I say, Meg, I've got this pretty good funnel kind of built out. I've got a tripwire, I've got an upsell, and then it all leads back to my signature course.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to start running some Facebook ads on this. Is this something that we're going to jump into right away to immediately build out that entire funnel? Or are you going to say to me, well, Kim, here's what we can do instead of just doing this whole thing at one time, and you've never done Facebook ads before, let's test the waters a little bit. Let's just start with that small product you have. Let's just test the waters a little bit and see what happens.
Yeah. So you made a good point. So if you've never done Facebook ads before, we would kind of jump in a little bit. But if you have, my first step is always to look at your account. So I call it an audit. It's not anything scary like a tax audit, but it's just, if you've run ads in the past, I want to be able to poke around and see what you've done and who you've targeted and what results you've generated. See what we can learn about what you've already done. Even if you didn't know what you were doing and you were just guessing at stuff, usually we can still get some ideas from it of things that may or may not have worked. So step one for me is always to audit what they already have. Look at the insights, look at what people are responding to, look at any data that you already have. Then, again, and I'm making an assumption here, but we're going to start with step one. We're going to start with lead generation and just driving people into your funnel. And we're going to make sure that the pixel is set up, I should say, to track all of that. Like, we want your Facebook pixel installed on your website. We want it tracking every step in your funnel. But your ads itself, we're going to focus just on step one. And the reason is traffic, is like quantity of people going through your funnel. We can't do a lot of retargeting, like a lot of driving traffic to your course, if you don't already have people in your funnel. So we want to start by taking your budget, which most people come to me with a relatively modest budget, right? Like, I work with small business owners. I don't work with like Target. So they come to me with a modest budget. And I say that it may still be $30 or $40 a day. But in the beginning, let's just say month one, we can put all $30 to $40 towards list building, towards driving them in to opt in and to see your tripwire offer. And that's what we're going to do for your whole budget. Then month two, now we've got this like decent number of people who have joined your list. They've purchased or not purchased your tripwire offer, but we've been able to assess some of that. Like, maybe we need to tweak your sales copy, like figure out why they're not purchasing it and work on that tripwire. Now we can start to run some ads for your product or your service, because now you've got some warm people that we can retarget. And those warm people who hopefully have been getting emails from you for the past month, and you've done that effective follow-up. Now we're going to drive some ads that are a little more buy my stuff, a little more to the point.
Right.
We're still going to use creative copying and things like that, but we're going to show them those ads to try to get them to make those purchases. And then we can distribute your budget a little bit. So maybe month 2, we go, I can't even remember what I said, 30 or 40 bucks. So maybe we go, $25 at lead generation, and we put $10 or $15 a day towards retargeting, just to split it up. And this is a total, please don't take this as the equation to solve all your problems, because there's a lot of variables that go into this. But we're going to divide that budget up, and we may need to tweak it. Maybe we run it for a week and we're like, oh, this needs a little more budget, so we put this down to 20 and move this to 20. It's really going to depend, but we're going to split it. We're going to run a couple different steps, and then we're going to be able to look at the pixel data from your whole funnel. So we're going to be able to see, because in step 1, we want to generate leads, right? And the problem a lot of people have is they'll try to get the cheapest leads, period.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not always the best answer, because your cheapest leads may not be as likely to get your tripwire offer as a slightly more expensive lead. So you have to weigh all of that. You want to look at your entire funnel of data when you're making decisions, even on your first funnel ad, your first funnel step ad. So it's analyzing all of the data and making those decisions. So it's definitely not jumping in and attacking the course. And for that reason, another thing I see a lot is somebody will come to me, and right now it happens to be February, the middle of February, and they'll say, and I want to launch the thing March 1st, and my cart will open March 5th, or my cart will close March 15th. And I'm like, oh, I want to be able to help you, but at that point, it's not management. I can help you with a couple strategy sessions. I can give you some tools, but I just know that the timeline isn't going to work for me to effectively deliver the results you need. In a perfect world, I want 3 months to work. 3 months is my sweet spot. So even my one-on-one clients, we work together for 3 months. And if that launch is going to happen, I want it to be the end of month 2 or beginning of month 3 or later, So there's a little piece, and that goes into this long-term mindset and the lifetime customer value. There may be a period of time in the beginning, 1 to 2 months, where you're investing money and not seeing that immediate return. No, that's never the goal, right? The goal is always to have some sort of a tripwire offer so you can make that money back.
Right.
But may not be positive until we get into month 3, for example, because unless you already have all of that traffic coming through, but most people don't. So it really depends upon what your pixel's picking up, what we can retarget, what your audience sizes look like, how big is your email list. These are all things that go into determining that official ad strategy. But I do hope that sheds some light on it. It's hard to speak in without seeing actual data, but hopefully that helps people understand how it might look for them.
Yeah, I think it does. I think it gives them some idea. And what would you say, let's say an average user, they're starting out and they really want to try a Facebook ad strategy over the next 3 months. What do you say is a reasonable budget? Should they be planning for $20 a day for the next 3 months, $30 a day, $40 a day?
And it depends upon the goals. So I'm going to use a very simple and basic example that I am a business owner. I want to grow my list. Let's just say I've got some offers kind of sprinkled in there, but my main goal is list growth, because I know that I'm in an early stage of my business and I just want to grow my list and then work on nurturing them through. For something like that, I'm going to run either a conversion ad to an opt-in page or a lead ad. So there's 2 types of ads you can run. I really love lead ads. Lead ads are great if you don't have a tripwire offer, because you can run the lead ad on Facebook. It's a pop-up. It says, give me your email address and I'll give you my freebie. They enter their information, and then you zap it into your email provider and they send your freebie. Quick and easy. but you can't like send them to a tripwire offer. So if you have a tripwire offer, you have to do a conversion ad. Either way, you're going to run that lead through, and you want to know what your cost per lead is. So I typically will start between $5 to $10 a day to start.
Gotcha.
That is totally fine. And I'm coming from the perspective of this is a beginner who doesn't really have the budget. If you're listening and you're like, that's nothing, I could do $20 a day. You can't really go too big. All right. Like you really can't go too big. If your budget is like, let's just say $300 a day, then we can talk about ways to separate that budget through different ad sets and audiences so that it delivers better. But I don't think anybody listening, excuse me, is going to have that issue of it being too big. So feel free to start small, start at the $5 to $10 range, see what your cost per lead comes in at. Let's just say, because I like easy math, your cost per lead is $1. All right, so it's kind of lowish, but also easy to math out. Your cost per lead is $1. In order for Facebook, for the ad algorithm to work effectively, it wants to see 50 of whatever action you're optimizing for. So in this case, 50 leads in a week.
Gotcha.
So if your cost per lead is $1, you need to get 50 leads in a week. Divide that out by the days, and you could run this for, I don't know, $10 a day, let's just say, is going to get you those 50 leads. Now, that's like a minimum for the algorithm to work right. Ideally, in a perfect world, you get all of those leads in one day, 50 in one day. But that might be out of your budget. So it's like, if 50 in one day is out of your budget, can you do 50 in a week? If the answer to that is no, then this is not the time to run this ad.
Gotcha.
And it's because the algorithm isn't, the way that it works is you set your audience, you set your copy and creative, you set all your stuff, and then Facebook gives this ad out to certain people to see who's going to reply. After 50 people have given their leads, Facebook's like, all right, so what do these 50 people have in common that these 100 people who also saw the ad but didn't give their lead don't? And it'll start to cherry pick from your audience the people who are most likely to get you the leads. Because at the end of the day, we touched on this in the beginning, and this kind of brings it full circle. Facebook wants your ads to be successful. Because if they're successful, you will spend more money with them.
Right.
So, but you have to give Facebook enough data to get you the results that you need. You need to be able to get those 50 results. And like if that didn't work, then the next option could be, instead of running a conversion ad for leads, think about your ads as a funnel. Think about the whole funnel. Well, what comes before the lead? A page view. Yeah. So maybe we just run a traffic ad, getting people to the page so that we can build enough traffic there, start getting those leads because the right people will convert. And then you could try the conversion ad later once you've got some more steady conversions coming through. Gotcha. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Those are some really, really good strategies. Wow, Meg, that is really good. I like that. And what that does, audience, I hope you were able to really get your wheels turning about some ways that you could incorporate for Facebook ads into your business, what it would kind of cost, what that budget would be like, how the algorithm works with you in that, and just for people who are really curious about that, how that would really work. So thank you for sharing that, Meg. I appreciate it. Yes, I loved it. Mm-hmm. Had me thinking about some things. Good.
That's the goal.
Good. Now, Meg, we went a little long today, but I thought it was really imperative that we got this information out. So I want to talk about a few things before I let you go. Are you okay with that?
I'm good. I got a couple more minutes.
Okay, good. Now, I know you have a podcast. Tell us a little bit about your podcast.
Sure. So my podcast is called Familypreneur. I started it, after leaving Facebook to build my business with kids at home. I started to realize that wasn't that easy, and so balance is something that always comes up, family, entrepreneurial balance. And the way that I found balance, which doesn't work for everybody, but the way that I found balance is by blending family and entrepreneurship. So
Oh, nice.
my kids, sometimes they show up behind me. Sometimes they are like in view of my camera. They're involved in the process. I talk to them about what I'm doing. Just the other day when my daughters came in and she said, "Are you working on ad copy or is it email copy?" Like,
Oh, wow.
do you know what I mean? Like they ask me these questions because we talk about this stuff. And it's nice because I love business. Like, I love what I do. I love entrepreneurship, and I love my kids. And it lets me just incorporate them both together. And I feel like it allows us to have a lot of cool conversations. I've encouraged my kids to start their own little like endeavors. My oldest used to have a website focused on reading and kids literature.
Oh,
She's since grown out of that. So that's not a thing anymore, which is fine. As entrepreneurs, we pivot, and it's learning these lessons. That's totally okay. My 8-year-old has a YouTube channel that she relies on me to do a lot of stuff for. So there hasn't been a video posted recently, but it's on the agenda. And so she has a YouTube channel where she plays Roblox, and she's done makeup tutorials and unboxings, and all from an 8-year-old's perspective. And then my 4-year-old just launched a podcast, which is interesting, right? And these are all like, if you go listen to my 4-year-old's podcast, you're going to be like, this isn't good. What is she talking about? She will talk about anything she wants to talk about, anything that comes to her 4-year-old mind, which is amazing. So,
yes.
um, she loves talking into the mic. She's learning that, people, we talk about how podcasting works, that it goes onto the app and that people can listen. And, she's just learning these little ins and outs. And, will my kids be entrepreneurs when they grow up? I don't know. Do I care? Not really, as long as they're doing something that makes them happy. So, I want them to know that, school is important. College is optional, and it may be very beneficial. And we will support you whatever you decide. And that's really what this podcast has been. So not everybody subscribes to my same blending. Some people, like to block their time and keep the two things very separately. But I like to just talk to other parent entrepreneurs about how they're balancing things in their home, but also how they're building their businesses with kids around. So some episodes are a little more family focused. Some episodes are a little more business focused.
Gotcha.
But I think it's a good blend of content
Yes.
for parents building businesses and raising entrepreneurial kids.
Yes. If you could, I get the gist of that, because sometimes it's very difficult to keep them separate, but if you could bring them together, it works well. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see that. Um, Definitely. Oh, nice. So you have a book as well, Meg.
Yeah, and it's based off of that same kind of concept. It's a children's book. It's called ABCs of Business,
Yeah.
and it is a cute little story about a character who the character goes through the ABCs, but not in order. And so I kind of joke around because I'm like, because nothing in this entrepreneurial world is linear, right? The path to success is not a straight line. It's that squiggly line.
Yeah.
And so the story is told starting with I is for idea. So the character has an idea. The character creates a product. So P is for product. And it goes through this
Yeah.
process of business. It talks about email marketing. H is for hashtag. It talks about social media.
Nice.
Like, and now I'm trying to think. U is for upsell. So we talk about what an upsell entails.
Yeah.
And the book ends with Z is for zero limits. And it's this message that, you can be anything, you can do anything. There are zero limits. It does talk about people make mistakes, and that's okay as long as you learn from them. So it's meant to still have that really positive message. Oh, I know the third letter I forgot was Y is for you, because you are unique. So it's like, I
Yes.
really want the kids to walk away with some positive messages, not to have, imposter syndrome and all those things that we deal with, but also introduces them to some really cool concepts. So I love that my 4-year-old, we were parked in the parking lot the other day and she's like, that car has the same logo as ours. And I'm like, you're right. Like,
Oh,
they're both Fords. Like, she'll pick out, or she'll be like, this
nice.
picture was taken in Walmart. And I'm like, how do you know? And she's like, because that's their logo. And I don't know, I just think it's so cute that she knows what a logo is.
Yes.
But it's a way to introduce those concepts to your kids. And I think parents will kind of enjoy it just because it is a little funny to think about an ABC business book. So it's a fun little bonding activity for you and your kids.
Yes. I love the thought of that. Pick that up for my grandson.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's on Amazon.
Very nice. Very nice. And I will definitely put the link to all of this on the podcast page. And of course, Meg has a free gift for you.
Yes.
Tell us about that free gift, Meg.
Okay, so this is kind of my favorite. Um, I have developed a really fun quiz. So I'm very involved, with my family, and we're kind of goofballs. So we're like those people that rock out at the red lights, and we have dance parties all the time. We really are starting to be on TikTok. So my daughter's teaching me how to dance, which is comical. But anyhow, we love dancing and music. So this quiz is structured to not only help you with your Facebook marketing, but it's going to identify a song to like start your first like happy dance party. So like if your Facebook marketing doesn't make you do a happy dance every day, then you can take this quiz. You'll get a song to kick off your happy dance party. It may be a Taylor Swift song. It may be Black Eyed Peas or Usher. I think there's a Journey song in there. So I've got a little bit of something for everybody, no matter what like genre you listen to. I just can't guarantee you're going to get that one, but there's some different music in there. And then it also will automatically deliver a checklist, a freebie, a resource that's custom made for whatever stage of your business you're at. So that little quiz will help identify what opt-in is best suited for your Facebook marketing strategy right now. We talked about a lot of stuff today, from Facebook Live to organic strategy to paid ads, and it can be really difficult to know like where exactly do I start. So this is my fun way of, it'll take you like, I don't know, 5 minutes. There's like 8 questions. It's not a long quiz. And I think it's really fun. I had a ton of fun making it, and I still have fun going through and taking it myself sometimes just because I think it's cute. So
I cannot wait to take the quiz. I saved it. So I haven't taken it. Yes. I've not taken it yet. I can't wait to take it. So
well, I feel like you'll have to let me know like what song you're rocking out to. That's what like, and I love people are like, I'm rocking out to Usher, and it's like awesome. I'm rocking out to like what song you're rocking out to.
okay, I will. And I will put all of this on the podcast page where you can find Meg, her social media links. Meg is on I think she's on every social media network. And she also has a group.
Yeah.
I need to join that group myself just to be able to stay abreast of all things Facebook. Now, Meg, before we wrap up, a couple final things, and we will wrap this up. I'll let you go. I know this has been a long one for us, but it has been so informative. Thank you for being so gracious. One of the funny things about Meg is she hates naked feet. So you never catch her in flip-flops or high heels. Oh, wow. Why do you hate naked feet?
Look, socks right now. I don't know. I think it's a sensory thing, but it's so funny because like we'll go to the beach and people want to wear high heels. I'm like, no, I'll be in sneakers. I'll wear my kicks.
Oh, really? At the beach?
Oh yeah, I'll wear shoes and socks. I mean, I'll take them off if I go in the water. Like I'm not that crazy. Like like my husband, I sleep with my socks on. I always have socks on. And I always wear. In a funny way. For a while, when I saw women who were like public speakers or professional speakers, they always would wear like a pantsuit and high heels, or they'd always be in like high heels and a dress. And I was like, I don't fit that mold. Do you know what I mean? I don't like high heels. And one of my friends was like, well, you just have to train your feet. Like, you just have to wear them. And so I wear, it's not like I've never worn them. I just
Right.
don't like them. And so when I started speaking professionally, I just decided to wear Converse sneakers. And that's like, when you see me on stage, I will be wearing Converse sneakers. I can't promise what color they will be or what print they will be because I like collecting them. But that's what I wear is high top Converse sneakers. And I kind of have just incorporated it into part of my brand. I tell people I need to be able to run and grab a kid at a moment's notice. And I'm just not a high heel person, but I don't know what it is. I think it's sensory. My feet are totally normal. Like there's no like extra toes or, funny things. But it's funny every once in a while, like walking from the shower or whatever, especially in the RV, the kids will be like, "You have toes."
Ah, they'll say you have toes. And that, the Converse sneakers totally fit you. It totally fits you.
Well, thank you. And I still love dresses, so I'll wear like a nice professional dress and Converse shoes, and I'm like, it is what it is.
Yes, it fits you
I
perfectly.
don't fit in the box. That's fine.
That's fine. It's okay to not fit in the box.
Yeah.
I love it. I love
I
it.
don't know what my weird sensory thing is with feet.
And one of your favorite motivational quotes is, "It's all okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end." I love that. Did you write that?
Thank you. Yeah.
You wrote that?
Oh, no. I didn't write that. No.
Okay.
Um, the origin story is actually kind of not a great one. It was one of the quotes that got me through my dad's passing away when I was young. Uh, so he died 2 days before I turned 12. And that was, I don't know where it came from. I don't know, but that was one of those things that as a kid, as a teen, a tween, which I don't think was a word back then, but it just helps me kind of get through those like really down and out moments. I dealt with a lot of stuff losing a
Right.
parent that young. And it's just, I feel because it was so influential in it's just carried me through everything. So anytime, it doesn't have to be like depressing suicidal stuff, but it could be like it works for that, but it also just works for anything, where if it's not right, if your business is okay right now, like that's fine. It just means that there's a pivot. Like this isn't the end of that. So it's
Right.
just knowing that at the end of your story or your chapter, there will be a pretty pink bow on it. And if there's not a pretty pink bow yet, then you just have to keep working through it, figure it out, and you'll get there. And I just that knowledge of just pushing through a little bit longer, because you will get to the happy ending. It's just putting in a little more time to get there. And it just seems to help me.
Love it. I love that. Yes. I love it. Love it. Love it. You see that quote again on my free gift for you. It'll be nice. Yeah.
Awesome.
That's nice. So we're about to wrap up, Meg. Thank you for being so gracious with your time. I know we've been here quite a while, but the information you gave has been so valuable. Audience, this will be a podcast that you want to listen to again and again and again, because Meg gave so much information. If you've ever thought about working in Facebook ads and you really want to dig in and see, where do I fit in with Facebook ads, this is a good podcast that'll help you think through that.
Yes.
So, Meg, before we go, if you will share one action tip with my audience that they can put in place today, I would appreciate it.
The number one tip is going to be to get your Facebook pixel installed. And if you're like, I already have it installed, then I want you to do an audit on that pixel. So you want to make sure that that snippet of coding has been copied from your ads manager and pasted into your website header. And you want to make sure it's tracking either standard events or custom conversions for every step in your customer funnel. Whether you're running ads or not, that pixel will unlock the analytics. It does I don't want to go into a whole other podcast episode, but that is the number one action step, is to get that pixel installed. And you can reach out to me directly. I will help you with it. But Facebook has tons of tutorials that make it super easy. It's not a difficult process.
Good, very good. Yeah, I've got that pixel installed. I just never looked at it.
So your action step is to look at it, look at the pixel data.
Yes, I'm going to check my pixel out. I've never looked at it. Thank you so much, Meg. You've given my audience so much to think about. We've got to embrace this. The audience, you've got to be with me on this. We've got to embrace Facebook,
Yeah.
and we've got to embrace how it can help us grow our businesses, because it can.
Yes.
It absolutely can.
Yeah.
So thank you, Meg, for being here. Thank you, audience, for showing up. And we'll catch you on the next episode. Take care. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Inspired Women Amazing Lives podcast, where we help women to be truly inspired to live their most amazing lives. I hate to see you go, but this is another episode that has ended. Hope to see you on the next episode. Please subscribe to the podcast to be notified of new content every week. Please like, comment, and share with the woman who inspires you most, or someone you would like to inspire.